Tesla's worldwide network of supercharger stations have long been considered one of Tesla's major advantages in the plug-in car marketplace. When the first 8 supercharger stations opened in 2012, they were the fastest available public charging technology out there, capable of recharging an original 85 kWh Tesla Model S from empty to full in around 75 minutes at power levels of up to 90 kilowatts. Tesla superchargers were certainly impressive at the time. They also made long-distance electric car travel truly practical and bearable at a time where other DC quick charging infrastructure was in its infancy, with very few public charging stations, maxed out at about 50 kilowatts, and was so unreliable that you never really knew when you would actually reach your destination. Fast forward 7 years, and Tesla has gone from having just 8 supercharger sites to more than 3,000 locations, accounting for more than 12,000 supercharger stalls around the world. And since those early days of V1 Supercharger tech, we've seen Tesla improve its supercharger technology to make higher powered charging possible, reducing the amount of time it takes to charge up a Tesla at a Tesla supercharger. Until yesterday, Tesla's superchargers maxed out at around 120 kilowatts of DC quick charge power, although the charging stations themselves were technically capable of power levels of up to 145 kilowatts. But as promised, Tesla has just switched on the first of its V3 Supercharger stations. They make it possible to charge at power levels in excess of 250 kilowatts, or 1,000 miles per hour. Tesla says this, combined with a new en route battery warming routine designed to get a car's battery pack ready to receive power at such high levels, should cut the charge time that average customers spend at a supercharger station to almost 1/2 of the original charging time. But while this new technology is now live at Tesla's Fremont factory supercharger site, not every Tesla out there has access to it straight away. So here are the differences between version 2 and version 3 superchargers, what you can expect if you use a V3, and what other tweaks are coming from Tesla's supercharger network in the future. First up, it's important to note that the 250 kilowatt charge rate of the new V3 Superchargers, technically currently called a public beta by Tesla, is only possible right now if you have a Tesla Model 3. A new over-the-air software update should have unlocked the faster charging capability, as well as introduced a new en route battery warm-up feature designed to precondition the battery pack to the optimum temperature for super high current charging. Since most people know they're going to visit a supercharger ahead of time and have probably used their Tesla's onboard navigation to get there, this little software feature is also apparently on the way to Model X and Model S cars too, and should help improve charging times at existing V2 supercharger sites. But more on that in a second. In order to provide the 250 kilowatts of V3 supercharging power to customers' cars, Tesla has redesigned its V3 supercharger sites. The charger cables themselves are now liquid-cooled to ensure they aren't super thick and heavy, just like they are on other high-power charging stations deployed by companies like Electrify America, Ionity, and FastNed. Without that liquid cooling, the cables required for such high power transfers would just be unwieldy to handle, as well as being pretty heavy to boot. Tesla's new V3 superchargers also require more power to feed them, a 1 megawatt power cabinet for 4 stalls, and unlike previous supercharger sites where 2 stalls would power split, thus lowering the charging speed if 2 cars are plugged into the same charging station simultaneously, each stall will get its own dedicated 250 kilowatt supply from that 1 megawatt power cabinet. From a use point, the V3 units will feel the same as older V2 units to use. The only difference, as you can see here, is that the charging takes a lot less time. This graph is built off some of the early data recorded by Tesla Model 3 owners who've already tried out the V3 Beta Supercharger, and shows that when compared to a regular old V2 Supercharger, charging speeds are a lot faster. However, if you want to take full advantage of those insanely high power levels of charging, up to 1,000 miles of range per hour according to Tesla, you'll need to pull into your supercharger with a pretty low state of charge. Once the car's battery pack is more than about 17 or 18% full, the charging power does drop off, and the lower the power, the longer it will take to charge your car. I should note that that's the same for every single rapid charging car out there. If you want to maximise charging speed and minimise the time you spend charging, you should always arrive at a rapid charger with as low a state of charge as you dare. That's something demonstrated here really nicely. As you can see, to go from around 70% full to 90% full takes about the same for both V2 and V3 superchargers. You just get the charging up to that point a lot quicker with V3. Tesla says the new en route battery warm-up combined with the V3 stations should halve Tesla Model 3 long-range charge times when compared to existing supercharger sites. And eventually, it plans to roll out V3 faster charging for Model S and Model X cars too. In the interim, Tesla says it will unlock the full capacity of its existing V2 supercharger stations, taking them from the 120 kilowatts of today to 145 kilowatts for all cars. Model S and Model X customers will also get the en route battery warm-up feature baked into the next software update, which, combined with that extra 25 kilowatts of power, should reduce existing Tesla charge times on existing Tesla superchargers by about 25%. In a world where supercharger sites are under ever-increasing demand thanks to all of those extra Teslas on the road, this is a really smart way to ensure that people charge up and move on as quickly as possible. It's also a great sales pitch, and it makes the Model 3 the fastest charging electric car on the market today, although it will be joined later this year by the Porsche Taycan, which will be able to match the V3 charging speeds of the Tesla Model 3 at special next-generation CCS quick charging stations. By the end of next year, I expect multiple high-speed 350 kilowatt or better capable cars will be on the market, making today's average of 50 kilowatts DC quick charging most certainly the snail in the refueling race. That's it. Thanks for joining me, and see you next time.